For centuries, humanity has been fed a single, comfortable narrative that tens of thousands of Copper Age slaves built the greatest monuments on Earth using nothing but ropes, wooden sledges, and sheer muscle power. But behind the closed doors of modern academia, away from the tourist crowds and the carefully tailored textbook history, lies a dark, heavily guarded secret that threatens to dismantle our entire understanding of human civilization. September 2026. Deep within the high-security basement of the Grand Egyptian Museum, a discovery was made that was never supposed to see the light of day. A piece of history that should not exist. Dr. Asim Malik, a world-renowned epigraphist and forbidden history researcher, had spent his life decoding dead languages. But tonight, the symbols dancing across his monitor screen were sending chills down his spine. Resting on the examination table was a block of black basalt, excavated illegally from a hidden chamber 50 meters beneath the Sphinx. Its surface was carved with a precision that modern lasers could barely replicate. As the advanced translation software processed the microscopic grooves in the stone, sentences began to form. Words that shattered the dynastic timeline of Egypt. Words of warning. The inscription read, "The builders were not of this earth. They commanded the mountains of stone with the power of light and harmonic sound. Pharaoh Khufu was merely the keeper of the machine. It's the ultimate cover-up, Asim," a voice whispered from the shadows. Eva Leonard, an investigative journalist tracking historical conspiracies, had been following the money trail of black market antiquities for years. Eva knew that mainstream archaeology was a multi-billion-dollar industry built on maintaining the status quo. To admit the pyramids were something else would collapse institutional credibility overnight. If this data leaks, Eva, we aren't just losing our careers, Asim said, his voice trembling. We are challenging the entities that control the global narrative. We are exposing a lie that is 4,000 years old. Suddenly, the grid died. The sanctuary of knowledge was instantly plunged into a crimson nightmare. The security systems were bypassed from the outside, leaving them completely vulnerable. They weren't thieves. They moved with military precision. A Black Ops retrieval team sent by a shadowy organization whose sole purpose is to bury anomalies before they reach the public. Asim didn't think twice. He grabbed the encrypted storage drive containing the raw scanning data. It was their only shield and their only death warrant. Eva secured the basalt block. If they lost the physical proof, the world would view their digital data as nothing more than a poorly fabricated internet hoax. Sprinting through the maze of the service corridors, they could hear the heavy, tactical gear of their pursuers closing the gap. The hunt had officially begun. They burst into the night, throwing themselves into Eva's modified off-road vehicle just as the facility's perimeter gates were locked down by the armed intruders. Disappearing into the featureless landscape of the Giza Plateau, they killed the headlights, trusting the moonlit desert to swallow their tracks from the high-tech predators behind them. The air inside the cabin was thick with adrenaline and fear. They had no government allies, no institutional backup. They were completely on their own, holding a secret that could break history. The sky was no longer safe. The shadowy syndicate had deployed aerial surveillance, turning the ancient desert into a digital net, searching for two missing scientists who knew too much. To discover who really built the wonders of Egypt, they first had to survive the night. They had to outrun history's biggest and most ruthless cover-up. At dawn, sheltered within an abandoned fishing hut along the Nile, the fugitives set up a makeshift command center. It was time to look at the cold, hard numbers that mainstream science ignored. Eva opened her encrypted archives, revealing mathematical data compiled by independent engineers, geometricians, and physicists from around the world. Data that revealed an impossible truth. The Great Pyramid of Giza consists of over 2.3 million stone blocks. Some of these blocks, especially those in the King's Chamber, weigh up to 80 tons each, quarried from hundreds of miles away. History textbooks claim the monument was completed in just 20 years for the burial of Pharaoh Khufu. But if you do the basic mathematics, the conventional theory completely falls apart. To build the structure in 20 years, the builders would have had to quarry, transport, carve, and perfectly place one stone block every 2 minutes, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Furthermore, the Great Pyramid is aligned to true north with an accuracy of within 3/60ths of a degree. This is a level of structural alignment that modern engineers struggle to achieve even with GPS. The three pyramids of Giza mirror the exact cosmic alignment of Orion's belt. A perfect astronomical clock carved in stone, mapping the stars not as they are today, but as they were 11,000 years ago. Look at the tool marks, as Eva pointed out. Mainstream scholars assert that the Egyptians cut these ultra-hard rose granite blocks using nothing more than primitive copper chisels and stone hammers. But granite is one of the hardest minerals on Earth. Copper is a soft metal that would dull after a few strikes against granite. The circular drill marks found on the stones prove a different story. Analysis of the core drills reveals that the ancient builders were cutting into granite with a feed rate that is 60 times faster than modern diamond-tipped industrial drills. It wasn't muscle. It was advanced technology. They didn't cut the stone, Eva, as murmured. They softened it. They possessed a method of altering the atomic structure of crystalline rock using vibration. They used sound, acoustic levitation. Ancient myths from across the globe speak of a golden age where heavy materials were lifted through chants, songs, and resonant frequencies. Myths that science is now proving to be true. Eva dug deeper into the leaked intelligence files. She found that major world governments had discovered anomalies inside the pyramids during global positioning radar scans in the late 20th century. Despite what popular culture safe keeps, not a single royal mummy or treasure has ever been found inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. It was completely empty. It was never a tomb. The interior chambers are built exclusively with conductive rose granite and insulating limestone, arranged in a layout that matches the exact schematics of a modern electromagnetic power plant. Ancient rivers once flowed beneath the Giza Plateau. The subterranean water flow created a natural hydraulic vibration, generating piezoelectric energy through the quartz crystals in the granite core. If it was a power plant, a who were they sending the energy to? Eva asked, the weight of the question hanging in the air, opening a terrifying door to the stars. Their time had run out. The algorithmic tracking software of their enemies had traced their digital fingerprint, pinpointing their temporary safe house along the Nile. The cleanup crew had arrived. No warrants, no negotiations. Their orders were simple: eliminate the targets, erase the servers, and recover the black basalt evidence. Fleeing into the ancient waters of the Nile, they cast away into the fog, leaving behind their equipment, but retaining the core data that would expose history's darkest truth. 3 a.m. The Giza Plateau was locked down, but the desert has always belonged to those who know its ancient pathways. Asim and Eva had returned to the scene of the crime. Using a forgotten ventilation shaft map during a 1990s archaeological survey, they crept directly into the massive stone lungs of the Great Pyramid, carrying their final experiment, the King's Chamber, a space devoid of any royal hieroglyphs, entirely composed of massive blocks of imported Aswan granite. It wasn't a resting place for the dead, it was a resonance box. Asim calibrated the acoustic generator to 432 Hz, the harmonic frequency of the Earth's natural electromagnetic field, the exact frequency the chamber was designed to amplify. Within seconds, the air inside the chamber turned electric. The 60-ton granite ceiling beams above their heads began to vibrate, acting as an acoustic tuning fork of titanic proportions. The impossible was happening before their eyes. The microscopic seams between the stone blocks, fit so tight that not even a razor blade could pass, began to bleed a faint, golden light. The entire chamber transformed into a living, breathing motherboard. The pyramid was turning on, reacting to the primary acoustic key that Asim had introduced into its stone heart. "It's not history, Eva," Asim shouted over the roaring hum. "It's a machine. a global wireless energy transmitter built by an advanced civilization before the global cataclysm, before the Ice Age. The Giza complex was just the central hub, a global network of pyramids scattered across every continent, built to capture the planet's seismic energy and transmit it wirelessly to the sky. Sim, we need to turn it off. Eva screamed. The structural resonance is destabilizing the entire plateau. If we don't kill the frequency, this whole mountain will bury us alive. But the decision was taken out of their hands. The Black Ops recovery unit had breached the inner corridors, launching tactical flashbangs and chemical gas directly into the King's chamber. Through the blinding chemical fog, the faceless agents of the cover-up advanced. No identity badges, no human remorse. They were the cleaners, here, to put the ancient machine back to sleep. Asim ripped the acoustic key from the sarcophagus. The golden grid vanished instantly, plunging the chamber back into its thousands of years old stone silence. Using the absolute blackness to her advantage, Eva struck first, disabling the lead operative with close-quarters combat maneuvers she had learned in high-risk war zones. But they were outnumbered. A heavy blow struck Asim down into the dark, and the physical proof, the ancient black basalt block, was violently ripped from their possession. "Run, Asim!" Eva roared, dragging the bruised scientist toward the secondary escape shaft. Behind them, automatic weapons fire-chewed into the ancient granite walls, spark lighting the dark. They escaped into the freezing desert air, leaving behind the artifact, but carrying injuries and a psychological trauma that would stay with them for the rest of their days. By sunrise, the perimeter was clean. The evidence was secured, the chamber was sealed, and the global syndicate began the heavy task of restoring the official lie. The ancient machines of Egypt were once again silent, buried under the physical and digital sands of control. History's biggest cover-up had won another battle. But data is like a virus. Once it is released from the clean vacuum of secrecy, it cannot be completely destroyed. It waits for the right moment to strike back. 5 days later, London, England. The rain offered a cold contrast to the dry heat of Egypt. Life moved forward, entirely oblivious to the close call history had just experienced. Sitting inside a crowded cafe, Eva watched the television broadcast. The mainstream media was already running the counterintelligence reports pre-packaged by the syndicate. The official statement claimed that the minor seismic anomalies at Giza were caused by thermal expansion of natural limestone. No mention of sound waves, no mention of light, no mention of advanced energy. Asim sat down across from her. The physical scars on his face would heal, but the look in his eyes had been permanently altered. He was a man who had seen the inner workings of reality. Without saying a single word, he slid a miniature, military-grade memory card across the table. They had stolen the physical stone, but they had missed the digital clone. Before the retrieval team had breached the chamber, Asim had initialized a direct backup of the live acoustic mapping telemetry. The absolute mathematical proof was right here. The data was flawless. It charted the energy output, the harmonic equations, and the definitive proof that the pyramids of Egypt were built using technologies that surpass our current capabilities. They think they can control history by burning papers and buying news stations, Eva whispered. But they are still living in the 20th century. The world has changed. With a single keystroke, Eva initiated a decentralized upload script. She didn't send it to a news agency. She distributed it across thousands of independent nodes across the global decentralized network. The file was live, immutable, unerasable, and open to anyone with an internet connection. History's biggest cover-up had just suffered a catastrophic, irreversible leak. The truth is out there now, Asim, Eva said, closing her laptop. People will finally know who really built the world. Asim looked out at the street, his mind at peace for the first time. Within hours, independent engineers, students, and open-source researchers across the globe began downloading the telemetry, running the calculations for themselves. The pyramids still stand, stone structures guarding an ancient truth. Tourists will still come, and tour guides will still repeat the century-old scripts about copper chisels and dynastic tombs. But the narrative has changed. A crack has appeared in the armor of the institutional lie. The physical monoliths of Giza are no longer viewed as dead historical monuments. They are recognized for what they truly are: advanced machines, mathematical proof of a lost golden age of humanity, waiting for a civilization smart enough to turn them back on. Asim and Eva disappeared into the crowd, their mission complete. They didn't need fame, and they didn't need institutional awards. They had given history back to its rightful owners, humanity. The biggest cover-up in ancient history is unraveling, one server at a time, one mind at a time. The truth can be buried, it can be hidden under institutional walls, but it can never be killed. The next time you look at the pyramids of Egypt, don't look at them as ruins of the past. Look at them as a mirror of our potential, a reminder of who we were and who we will become again. The truth is no longer buried under the sand. It is in your hands. Question everything. Look beyond the textbooks. The history you know is just the surface of a lie.